discussing the role of ADR in environmental protection. And when it comes to ADR, it is protected by the if we can take the example of arbitration, right? The most powerful method of ADR, which can become rule of the court, right? Other than mediation and conciliation. The most powerful method is arbitration. And when we come to the ADR, both parties with mutual consent sit in the arbitration with there some power in it by the arbitration clause in the contract or a separate contract. But when it comes to environmental protection or environmental right, as it is in our Constitution, Article 9A, it is a fundamental right now. And when there's a breach of fundamental right, we have fundamental right petitions. We can knock the doors of High Court. We can knock the doors of Supreme Court. But in case of arbitration, there must be an arbitration clause, and there must be both parties consenting to meet. How can someone alleging the breach of fundamental right can bring a party, or sometimes it's not a single party, and then how can someone sue through the arbitration? Arbitration is not a method to sue anyone. Arbitration is a proceeding which is initiated by mutual consent, already empowered by the contract. So, according as a unexperienced mind of a student, I have this confusion. How can we just use alternative dispute resolution, arbitration in place of courts? How it is going to be effective in that case?
Thank you very much. Actually, I'll have to take you back to the basic concept. Uh, we bifurcate arbitration and mediation one by one. Firstly, there are three kind of arbitrations. One is with intervention of the court, other is without intervention of the court, and third is arbitration in a pending proceedings. You very rightly pointed out parties, when entering into a contract and agreement, they insert the arbitration clause. So when the contract says in case of a dispute, we will not be going to a court of law, we will be getting settled it through arbitration. So if you knock the doors of justice, the other party can always say, without taking any step into proceeding, that since we have agreed to get it resolved through arbitration, there is no way uh, court can proceed with it. So in that case, you will go to court. Other situation is that one of the parties is not going to arbitration despite the fact that there is a dispute, and despite the fact there is an arbitration clause which envisages that in case of a dispute they'll be going referring the matter to arbitration. You can go to court and you can file an application before a court of law that direct this party to abide by the arbitration clause, and they will refer it. Thirdly, even if there is no arbitration clause in the agreement, during the course of the proceeding, if the parties agree that instead of getting it resolved through the court, we want it resolved through arbitration, they can do it if they mutually agree. So these are three scenarios in which you are placed. But to make it very clear, arbitrator acts like a judge. He gives a verdict. He gives a decision on the basis of recording of the evidence of the parties. But he gives a verdict. His verdict is called an award, which is later on made rule of the court, and parties can raise objections to that. Once it is made rule of the court, it has the force of a degree. This is what is done in arbitration proceedings. But arbitrator, whether it is a tribunal, whether it's a single arbitrator, whether there are two arbitrators appointed by two parties separately, and they appoint an umpire. So same goes for international arbitration proceedings, that if the parties have an agreement and they say that the seat of arbitration will be such and such, and such arbitration rules will apply, in that case international arbitration will take place, and the dispute will be resolved through arbitration and not through a court of law. So your question with regard to it being a constitutional right, of course constitutional right can be enforced and can be decided uh, before an arbitrator as well as it can be done before a court of law. So there is absolutely no bar on that, that you cannot go that. Of course, you cannot file a constitutional petition on the basis of that when you have an arbitration clause. But when there is a violation of fundamental right, you necessarily can raise that objection even before a civil judge or before an arbitrator. How come you can say that fundamental rights are only enforceable before constitutional courts, high court and supreme court? This is absolutely incorrect, one thing. Secondly, there have been many conventions on this, and New York Convention or arbitration is an old phenomena whereby international arbitrations are held and decided with regard to cross-border disputes, especially. And I told you that environmental disputes could be cross-border disputes also, and this is the ideal situation with a dispute is to be decided through an arbitration. So mediation is a relatively new phenomena, but it is a very powerful phenomena these days and very fashionable. There have been a, Singapore Convention about 5 years back, and 42 countries they were signatory to it. Right now, when I'm talking to you, 67 countries around the globe have settled that, like arbitration, the international commercial mediation will be one mode of deciding the disputes. And the difference between mediation and arbitration is that mediator is a facilitator, so he innovates and he finds different kind of uh, uh, s- uh, solutions with the help of the parties. He's only a facilitator. He's the last person who will decide. It is the parties themselves who decide. And once a mediation agreement is reached, the parties sign it, and the mediator only signs it as a witness. It goes to a court of law, and like in any pending dispute, whenever parties reach a settlement, no matter with the help of a third party, no matter with while talking and negotiating with each other, the court is bound to pass a judgment in accordance with that, unless it is unconscionable, unlawful, not enforceable as such at law. The court is bound to pass a decree. And if you talk about Pakistan Civil Procedure Code, Order 23 is the relevant provision which says parties during the course of things can anytime settle a dispute. Now there is Section 89A, which in which parties mm, can go for one mode of ADR and give it a try. It is not binding, but you have to give it a try. Now it is a mandatory to go to arbitration in certain areas. Like I'm author of so many ADR laws, so I will be guiding you on that as well. Like in Punjab, we have amended the Civil Procedure Code, inserted Order 10 A, and now it is a mandatory referral to to one mode of ADRs, and especially mediation. And within 30 days you have to give it a try. If it is settled through mediation, all right. Otherwise, it comes to back to court, and then there is a continuous trial. And believe you me, it is a very successful phenomena. So we have ADR Act 2017 in Islamabad specific. I am the author of that as well. I have written the 2019 Punjab Act, 2020 rules on that. We have amendment in the Civil Procedure Code at Karachi level as well. Most recently, Pakistan has given approval to this Singapore Convention, and now we are signing this international mediation thing as well. The problem with the failure of the system in Pakistan with regard to arbitration is also a failed phenomenon in Pakistan. For that matter, in the last 75 years, we have lost all the cases. The reason being, one, at the time of entering into agreement, we don't write down which country or which jurisdiction will be available in case of dispute to the contracting parties. And then we have not been able to establish a seat of arbitration in Pakistan. Resultantly, we have to go to Vienna, we have to go to Dubai for resolution disputes. And to top it all, our courts have been part of the problem previously because they have been usurping jurisdiction. And instead of getting the dispute resolved through arbitration clause, despite the arbitration clause, courts said that we will be deciding it. And in the end, despite the court verdict, there have been you know referral of disputes to international forums, and we have lost all the cases on that. But most recently, now we have proactive ADR judges in Pakistan, and especially Justice Mansoor Ali Shah. So he's the leader on that. So he has given so many judgments at the Supreme Court level, and there have been judgments from the Lahore High Court jurisdiction, Islamabad High Court jurisdiction, Sindh High Court jurisdiction, and even from Peshawar High Court jurisdiction, which say that disputes should be resolved through ADR. And they have been promoting this ADR and mediation. And there have been accredited courses available for the mediators as well. So this is fashionable around the globe now, and it is bound to come to Pakistan. Our legal system is at number 129 because it is choked already. And so ADR is something which is convenient to the parties, and people live with it. And especially in case of commercial disputes, for businessmen, time is money. They want to get it resolved quickly and swiftly. So this is a popular mode in America. Only 5% of the cases now go to trial. Rest of them are settled through one mode of ADR. And after Wolf reform in England, 80% success ratio. In India, they have concept of these lok adalats also, where community disputes are being resolved through that. And in addition to that, court annexed mediation, very powerful and successful. Same is true for Bangladesh. It is popular in China. So it is bound to come over here as well. So this is one mode. After all, every dispute has to be resolved some way. And I say there are some cases which are good candidates, some cases which are bad candidates. Today we were talking particularly with regard to environmental disputes. To me, I have been giving you examples also with regard to cases. These are one of the good candidates for resolution of disputes through mediation. And especially this composite model does help. And if even if you don't resolve a dispute permanently, you diffuse the tension, you narrow down the issues, and eventually in a court of law, these are resolved quickly and swiftly. And especially with the advent of this new technologies and scientific mechanisms, which is not very easy for courts to do in case of communities. And there are uh, uh, disputes with regard to a community, and you have to indigenize things, and you have to look at the community. It is always good to give ADR a try. This is what I was referring to. But back to square one, you have to be very clear about the concept of arbitration, mediation, and the court litigation, and do a comparative study on that. And before embarking upon to learn these advanced things, this is yet another tool to be added to your toolkit. And I'm not as a lawyer here to advance disputes and earn money out of the miseries of the parties. So this is something which is very close to my culture and close to my religion also. Because in Quran it is written that al sulh al khair. Whenever there is a dispute, have one party from both the sides and let them resolve the dispute. And Hazrat Ali Karamallah Wajhu said, कि, any society can survive with non-belief and with kufr, but not with injustice. And justice delayed is justice denied. The society which does not give you justice, it is zulm ka muashara. So we have to come to it that way. Some form of ADR has always been there historically, but now it has been institutionalized. So and this is being used, and this is an amazing phenomenon once you try it. And everyone is trying it. And in Pakistan also now this is becoming one of the popular modes. And this is and I congratulate you guys, and especially this forum, that you raise this question. And you see we have people from other countries also. So in case of cross-border disputes, it's an ideal situation. I'll give you one live example with regard to environment. With in my city, Lahore, now there are 6 seasons. In addition to 4 seasons, we have a season of dengue and we have a season of smog. And when you talk about smog, traffic problems, and with regard to emission from vehicles and brick kilns and industrialization and use of coal, there is one additional problem with regard to India and Pakistan, that they burn their uh, mm, uh, mm, uh, produce, and
Disputes.
fields. And this is a cross-border dispute. How it will be resolved through ordinary means? ADR will be ideal thing for resolving this very dispute. I place it to you. And to me, even conflicts like Kashmir are negotiable. You are not going to sort it out that way. And the first arbitration or mediation was done by Rasul Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace be upon him. We are in the month of Ramadan. When this Hijri Aswad issue, this was the first mediation, which took place. It was to be placed again while reconstructing Holy Kaaba. So Rasul Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he did was that he said we have put it in one big sheet, put it there, and all the kabilas and all the relevant people, they hold it and Hajar Aswad, and then he placed it at the place, and this was the first mediation done. So this is something very close to my religion and my ethos and my culture. And this concept of panchayat and these jirgas, these are been long phenomena, but now these have been institutionalized. These have the backing of law, and these are more workable. And I will say that you guys, especially young people, you should learn these techniques. You should be learning this arbitration, like institutions like Sierra, who accredit you, and similarly you should be accredited mediators. IMI, CEDAR, CMC, GEMS in states. These are, and Singapore mediation people. This is a 40-hour hands-on training where you are accredited as a mediator. And for international, mediations or arbitration, you ought to be having these certifications also. So these courses should be introduced at the law school, at the business school also, because to be a mediator, you need not be a lawyer all the time, and same is true for arbitration. So from people from all walks of life in a particular dispute, maybe an engineer is a better mediator or arbitrator as compared to a lawyer, and in some case a financial expert could be much better that way. And there are different models, community models, like you have a concept of Musalihin, a local government model, which was quite successful in Pakhtunkhwa. UNDP ran up that project, and I am author of the laws for that also. So all kind of things going on, like construction disputes, ideal for resolution of disputes through ADR. And this is a whole world open to everyone now. And unless you do it, if a dispute picks up in a country and it is not resolved, nobody will invest in that country. They will go to another country which resolves the dispute quickly and swiftly. Some of the cases have to be litigated in a court of law in any case, but if most of the cases can be resolved through one mode of ADRs, if that is done, there will be lesser cases in courts. And if there is a continuous trial on that, this is no rocket science. The system will start delivering, and everybody will be earning. And why you want to remain just lawyers or pleaders? Why don't you become arbitrators and mediators? And this is a very lucrative field also, and gratifying end of the day, because when every night when I sleep after resolution of a dispute, I have a very peaceful sleep. And if you litigate and litigate and litigate all the time, a grandfather starts a conflict, picks up a dispute, and he goes to a court of law, that will not be resolved in a court of law for the last 25, 30 years. Maybe the third generation is lucky to get justice. And to me, this is no justice at all. This is my answer to your
Sir, I
queries.
really enjoyed how you explained it, and like a disciple of law and one of those students who keep on asking questions. I have a lot of questions regarding this ADR thing, but I am here just to give chance to my co-participants if they want to ask. Later on, I will continue.
Okay,
If anyone want to ask, yes.
please do.
Uh, yes, sir. I have a question. How do the ADR courts in Pakistan make sure that the award is implemented, especially in criminal cases?
Okay. your question is twofold. Yes, ADR is can be used to resolve the criminal disputes as well. If you have a look at Pakistan Penal Code, there is a concept of compoundable and non-compoundable. All compoundable offenses where you can enter into a compromise, parties can enter into a compromise, and criminal case can be resolved. Those are amenable to resolution through ADR. Then even in heinous crimes like Qisas and Diyat ordinance, that is one kind of ADR also. And then in some cases you have simultaneously civil and criminal dispute going on side by side. Like if a check bounces, you give somebody a check and that is not encashed. Civil remedies, you file a suit for recovery under Order 37 of the Civil Procedure Code. But at the same time, under Section 489F, you can lodge an FIR for this being a criminal offense. So through ADR, you can resolve both these cases at the same time. Similarly, if somebody has, just manufactured a document in a fraudulent means, you can file a suit for cancellation of that document, but simultaneously under Pakistan Penal Code 420, 461, 464, 472. These are the sections attracted. So simultaneously, though both the remedies are availed and both are going on, this can be resolved through uh, you know ADR as well. Now, what happens when a case is decided by, when you say ADR courts, let me make it clear. These are not ADR courts. These are court next mediation courts where the judge who is not holding a trial, he acts as a mediator who is accredited as a mediator. We have trained, like in Punjab, when I was running this project in 36 districts of Punjab, we developed 36 ADR centers. And I accredited like 159 civil judges who were and additional judges who were acting as mediators in these courts. So a case during the trial, after filing of the written statement, was referred to them, and they'll try to resolve it through mediation within 30 days. If it is resolved through mediation, they report this settlement to the court, and court passes a decree in accordance with the settlement reached under Order 23, Rule 3, and it has force of the decree as well. If it fails, they report it is failed, the litigation was going on. And this is the model which was adapted in Punjab, and same is the model which is continuing in Islamabad right now. So where we have these ADR centers also now going on in the private sector also. And while I'm talking to you, we are training the Islamabad judges and accrediting them for doing court annexed mediations. But I am more in support of without intervention of the court, mediation and arbitration things. To me, courts are part of the problem, not part of the solution. That is the place of last resort. If a dispute is not resolved through arbitration and mediation, only then you go to a court, and then in court process also there is a chance to go for mediation, but not in every case you need to go to court. And this is what is happening around the globe, that this community level mediation and arbitration is more fashionable. People don't go to court, they try to resolve it outside the courtroom first time, and most of the cases are resolved that way. And in England, even there are chances to resolve the criminal disputes also. There are so many options for doing it, except from heinous crimes. And now only like 20% cases go to court of law. And in England, I'm a practicing barrister in England as well, and I have a right of audience in American courts, so I give you a comparison with regard to Pakistani courts. Being one of the senior lawyers here, having conducted like 26,000 cases over here, believe you me, even in England, now cases are resolved outside the courtroom, and only 20% of the cases go to court. I go to the court in the morning, and only half an hour before a trial, I come to know that my case is fixed before such and such judge, and within one day or maximum 2 days, that case is also resolved. That's why systems are delivering. So they have employed these new techniques and new things, and we are bound to follow these things if we are to survive in Committee of Nations. We are member of Committee of Nations. So everyone else is doing it. Why shouldn't we be doing it? And when we talk about high profile projects like CPAC. So who is going to invest here when you pick up a dispute and it goes on and on for years and years? It's for ease of doing business. This is also required. And then at community level, this brings peace between the parties and it's a win-win situation for everyone. A tremendous phenomena. You give it a try. I can talk on and on, but before I part, you note down um, uh, website of mine, zafarkalanori.com, and in the article section you will find a lot of articles on that, and even you can visit my uh, YouTube channel, Kaho Suno, and there are a lot of lectures on ADR with regard to that. And even on LinkedIn, I put uh, very frequently articles with regard to so many, disciplines of law, but there are many of them on ADR as well. So even on today's lecture, this evening I'll uh, place one article, upload it on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to read it that as well. So you need not take notes on that, but this is how we learn from each other. Question answers, these kind of interactions are very important, and this is not time wasted. This is not you were something you learned at the law school. So these kind of forum gives you an ideal opportunity to learn these new techniques. There are so many other phenomena also you need to learn, like there is a white collared crime which is quite fashionable these days, and very lucrative as dispute resolution mechanism, and for lawyers also. Now this is an area of computer digital forensics. Use of them is required. You are to learn these things. You never learned them at the law school, but these kind of lawyering will be required. The other day I was looking at the popularity of selecting a law course, and right on top is law and technology, which is the most popular uh, you know uh, sought after course these days. So you cannot perceive of practicing law without technology these days, because I told you that since you have these virtual courts coming in, you have evidence recorded through video link, you have artificial intelligence coming in. So all kind of new things. So you have to update yourself on that. Environmental law is another subject which requires uh, a lot of people to practice it. It is one of the top subjects. Same as oil and gas and things like that. Gone are the days when people used to study original ideas and fundamental law. See, it's a different ball game. Civil practice is different, criminal practice is different. Then there are specialized fields, so many specialized fields. People are going much beyond corporate law and things like that. Intellectual property rights in another area. And I hope so that from this forum you will be holding these kind of webinars and training sessions in future also. So and then we learn from each other, and especially when you have international concepts, so you get the benefit of collective wisdom everywhere. And when you have experts from different countries, so you have a different flavor. So it's an ideal situation. So I congratulate you guys on that mm,
Thank you, sir.
you have joined this forum. So I'm there because I'll be helping you on other subjects also whenever you require it. I
Sure.
love to do it because you are the next generation, and especially when you talk about Pakistani, 62% of the young people of Pakistan, there are hope. They'll set things right around all around in every walk of life, and I am a strong believer of that. All people should give benefit of their experience to the young people and leave room for them, and they will set things right.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
Thank you, sir.
thank
Sir, we have just few minutes left, and uh, before ending, if there are few participants who are asking some questions, I just want you to answer it in a minute so we can conclude it in the given time. As I see you spend your time to get another link, and we want you to be comfortable with your schedule. So, Nayab or anyone, I have a number of raised hands. We have just 5 minutes left. Please quickly ask your question and let Sir explain it in a minute or two. Hurry up, guys.
May I ask question?
Sure,
Go
sure.
ahead, please do that. We are
Go
running
ahead.
short.
Sir,
We just
first
few
of
minutes
all,
left.
thank you for such a comprehensive session. Sir, would you please kindly recommend some books in the Pakistani perspective which have been written by lawyers or practitioners or by judges, which we can read and give some insight from that?
Actually, I have referred to you my website. Go on that. There are a lot of articles on that. I told you these are available on the LinkedIn, available on my website zafarkalanauri.com and kalanauri.com. You can go through them, and for your benefit, inshallah, by next month, uh, my book on ADR, comprehensive book on ADR, will be out. It is in the process of being published, and you will be able to get benefit on that, because I've speaking for myself. I tell you, there is no other book at the moment, and I have been author of all the laws, and I love to teach. I teach at all institutions, so I was under a bounden duty to have this book, and you will be getting that book as well. So, meanwhile, you can go through those articles, and if you have any question, you can route those questions through this forum, and I can answer those questions as well. So, this is the beginning, not the end. We will be having many more sessions on not on ADR, but on many other fields also.
Thank you so much, sir. Looking forward for your book.
And inshallah.
Inshallah, sir. Inshallah, we will not let this opportunity go without availing this. Thank you for your time. If anyone have any question, he or she may ask. Noor,
Yes, sir.
We have
you
just
may
few
ask
minutes
your
left.
question.
And why this is
Be quick.
delayed in our court during the litigation but are quickly resolved in ADR with the more reliable solutions? What will be the purpose left for courts in if everyone started resolving their disputes through ADR?
No,
Uh,
there's
Yes,
some
very good
connection
question.
issue. Is
All
me or
cases are not good candidates for ADR. There are cases in which a verdict of the court or precedent is required. Like uh, manufacturer or inventor of Windows is in America, and Microsoft, they own it. And somebody is violating or pirating the Windows in some electronic market in Pakistan. In that case, ADR will never be a good option. They want a verdict. They want a precedent from a court of law, and so that it is enforceable, though it is not violated again and again. So there are so many disputes that there is imbalance between the parties. When one of the parties is more powerful than the other, then ADR is not a good candidate. But my answer to your question is that if most of the cases are resolved through mediation, the rest will be in courts, and there will be less rush, and there will be less backlog, and court will be getting more time. And if these will be resolved, the people will have confidence in courts, people will have confidence in lawyers. And the end of the day, I'm a human being first and a lawyer last. And if I'm not a good human being and I want to make money out of just miseries of the parties, this is no good. So right now, people are fed up from the court system. Nobody likes, the court system. They are fed up from this system. If system has to deliver, we have to reduce the backlog, and we have to take most of the cases which are resolved quickly and swiftly, and the rest of them again will be decided within a timeline, because people there'll be lesser cases, and court will have more time to resolve those serious cases. And people, instead of taking law into their own hands, they will start believing in the judicial system again, and that will be good for everyone, good for the country, good for the society, good for the judges, good for the lawyers, good for the litigants. Basically, these are litigants who are suffering the pangs of the system. They are my paymasters as a lawyer. they are my paymasters, they are paymasters for the judges also. So all this system, like there are disputes which can be resolved at the police level also by that model. And why to linger on things, you know? Okay, thank you very much. I think we are now done with our time.
Actually, we
And
will
see you.
have more meetings
Yes,
with you. Allah Hafiz.
thank you, sir. Thank